Hi guys, this is going to be something a little bit different. This has been in the making since last year, around about this time. I've created a spread, which is the heart and soul. So I'm going to touch into Amy Winehouse. Now, the reasons why I'm doing Amy was um, her album, The Black is Black, has always been had an impact in my life at that time. And there was a lot of numbers of songs I could relate to, and I could relate to some of the struggles that Amy was at. Lucky for me, um, it wasn't as just it wasn't as bad as Amy. It wasn't as bad as Amy, but I did have destructive behavior. I wouldn't say a dependence on alcohol, but I binge drinked quite a lot. And I, at that time when the Black and Black album came out, I was pretty much in a very dark place and a toxic relationship on both sides, not just on their side, but on my side too. So I watched the film with my daughter last year, and it brought up a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions, where I was at the time and how much things have changed for me. And it, yeah, it did bring up and obviously it brought up relief, but it also reminded me of where I could have been if I could have continued to the path that I was on at the time. Most people that know me um, knew that about my drinking, and I was a very spontaneous and stuff. Now, it's not addiction is not, you know, I didn't get help or support. Life changes and circumstances kind of helped me on my path. Was it the spirit? I don't know, but the path was changed for me. Um, it's saddened me, and I can remember watching when the paparazzi was chasing Amy down the road, and I'm thinking, you can see how frail and vulnerable she was at the time, and I thought she ain't gonna last, and it was inevitable that something was gonna happen. So I did watch the film, like I said, and it brought up her stuff. And this is not like I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not like who's to blame. I may even turn off the comments with this. Some of you may not watch this, but I felt like this has been in the making for me for some time, and I've got a number of people that I would like to do. So I'm gonna do sections time stamped in the description. If you just want to go to one area, I'll leave that up to you. But I also wanted to do the spread as like we need to be, we've come so far round the mental health side compared to what it was back then. There's so much more help and support, and there's much more understanding on some things that maybe Amy or you or me was dealing with at the time that we didn't understand. So anyway, the first section I'm going to do is the heart of Amy, their personal experiences, how they seen things and how they seen themselves, what motivated them and what lifted them. I don't know how this spread is going to go. I don't even know if I'm going to share it, to be honest, but I'm here, I'm present, I'm going to give it a go. I've got this, I don't know what I'm going to do with this either, and I've got a load of oracle decks out. I may not use them, I don't know. We're just going to go and see. So if you're interested to come along on this journey, or you want to learn something about your experiences, maybe there's been some songs that touched you with Amy, and maybe it was relation to you, and maybe this would be a reminder how far you've come, or what steps you could take, from Amy's experience. I'm hoping this will bring some understanding on where our path is at and what we can do in our own journeys. So with that being said, this is all allegedly, and it's entertainment purposes only. Take it for what it is, will, and I'll see you in the next section. So if you've carried on watching, welcome back. We're going to look into Amy and their personal experiences. So basically what I'm going to do is just pull 3 cards, okay, from their personal experience, through their heart, how they viewed things on an emotional level, you know. So with Amy, okay. Can you give me your personal experiences around your heart? Okay, so we've got 3 cards. Page of Wands, 4 of Cups, 6 of Cups. With Amy, we've got the Page of Wands. So here, I mean, it doesn't look like a butterfly, it looks like a moth to me. We've got the crystals there, and the settling. Now, the Page of Wands is more of something that inspired to do, something that is new, okay? In her heart, like on her personal feelings, she always tried to look at things in fresh outlook, new ideas, even when she felt quite discontented in her heart or in her personal life, or, you know, with the 4 of Cups, you know, there was that discernment of maybe boredom thing, but she always tried to do it, always inspired her to create something new from something, you know, that felt flat to her. So she was always looking. There's relevance of the past here that wasn't affected. Now, I know there's a lot of, you know, documentaries and stuff, and I have watched them. But we've got the 6 of Cups, 6 of Cups, which is memories of the past. This is a past card, like, you know. So her inspiration come up with past relations, you know, and that was her, you know, how so I would say Amy was quite a sensitive soul. She had a very natural creative gift, and even in her saddened times, because I see this as a saddened times, you know, and when she got drawn in, she kind of always find the inspiration to get herself out of this lull thing. So I feel like, you know, the 6 of Cups was like kind of like the relevance, which would make some sense with the songs that she, the albums that she done and what she created from her albums. It kind of brought her back to the past there. So yeah, that's the first part, what we got. So how did they view and see things? How did they view and see things? Now I put, oh no, I'm not reading reversed. Oh wow, okay, right. Right, she was a pretty go-getter. How she viewed things is like, if you want it, go for it. Take the initiative. So she was a strong leader. You got the Emperor card in the middle, okay? So she had quite a strong, dominant character. She was a risk taker, yeah? So she was kind of like, I would say she very much random. She, you know, she could change her mind like the wind. Yeah, she wasn't one to settle too quickly. She liked to she liked her little adventure. She likes to go get her. Unfortunately, with the Knight of Wands, with this is on how they view things, it could put her in situations that was maybe out of her control, and this is where the 7 of Wands came in, you know, which could have a backlash with Amy. Okay, so if she knew what she wanted, and she knew where she how strong, she had a quite a strong character with the Emperor card. But you know, the Knight of Wands really stands out in the card. So even though the Seven of Wands, like defensive. So I would say she could get quite defensive with people, especially if they said no. She didn't like the word no, a lot of the time. But in all almost, I would say she's quite fun to be around. She enjoyed the randomness. She enjoyed that thing. It kind of, again, it inspires her, and you can see we've gone from page to night, so it's like the changes, the dynamic changes of where the night is. The negative of the night can be, like I said, risk taking, which can be detrimental, which could cause problems there. Um, but how she seen things is like she knew what she was going for, and no one can stop her either. Okay, so she was quite easily put the barriers up or block you and just do what she wanted to do anyway, regardless of what your opinion or what you do thing, which you can see that about her. She always had like an edge about her, but it's coming up in the cards with the strong leadership role. So she was I would say, quite a strong character to be round, but definitely fun to be round, if you know. How did they see themselves? How did they see themselves? Ten of Cups. They were a family person. They loved their family very much in their emotions, very in touch with their emotions. Look at that. We've got the Ten of Cups, Page of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. So people around her was so important, right? And she felt very much of she was very in touch with her emotions, very connected with on that aspect. Although that was, could cause great things. So she tried to be very supportive with the people she's around her. She give freely. She loved to give to people. I think Amy could see when people were struggling themselves. And even though she was probably at her despair, she would still give to that person freely. So I seen, how she viewed herself as an emotional support of others, and very in tune with her emotions. Um, you know, so yeah, bit like free love, isn't it? I'm free love, free love, free spirit, free spirit. So she sees herself as a free spirit on that aspect. Okay, so what motivated Amy? What motivated Amy? What motivated Amy? Five of Cups. The emotional loss, which would make sense. When Amy was committed to something, this is what the cards are saying to me, so it's allegedly, but when Amy was committed to something, it was more, she would absorb it. So again, we've got the emotions with Amy, okay? I would say Amy was very intuitive. She could uncover stuff. She knew things. So I would say, although she had that destructive manner, there was more deeper things going on than, I wouldn't surprise me if she had the knowing. She couldn't quite understand it, but she just had this understanding of that. So even though it was detrimental to her, the inspiration helped her to commit to the unseen, the unknown. Okay, so she was very, I would say, very self-aware, self-in tuned, with that, which wouldn't, I mean, if you looked at all what was happening and what like was being fired at her, you wouldn't, no one would see that part of her, possibly, obviously the closest friends and family and that knows her would see that side, and people that had experiences with her. But there was that other side, or, she had, I, um, I would say love inspired her, which would make sense because of how her videos is. Um, I mean, the moon card is quite a deep card to have, and that to me is like the unsettled feeling, um, which yeah would make understands with the Black and Black song. I don't know. What do you think on that? Um, I would say she's very intuitive, and I mean, I know from like reading up on when I've done, because I did do another video of Amy when I first, in tunes with Amy. I haven't shared that because I'm in I'm in my 90, and I was just like testing the waters a little bit to see. Um, and I found out that she, her nan and her, they did have cards. Now, when I first done the reading with Amy, I pulled like 3 decks out, and this was the deck that she liked the most out of the 3 that I chose. I can't tell you. I can't remember which decks I chose. I know it was the other Light Seekers deck, and there was another deck, but she was more inclined. Oh, the Ghost Tarot, the Haunted Tarot, that was it. But she felt she liked this. She seemed, well, the crystal seemed to go more for this. So hence why I'm only using this as a spiritual connection, per se. Anyway, so what lifted them? So we're very in touch with our emotions, which, if you think I'm asking about the heart area, okay. And I know she loved her family. I know she was very, when she attached herself to you, that was it. You were a ride and die type of thing, what lifted them? The Knight of Swords. 6 of Wands. Now, interestingly enough, which we're going to touch on, her fame and stuff, in the next section, and relationships that she had, but we got the Knight of Swords. So, what lifted them was, I think she was a person to be reckoned with. She was very determined here, and I wouldn't, because there was elements that she didn't like the fame and stuff, but the 6 of Wands is that I think she liked to please people. I think it inspired her to do more. Do you know what I mean? So I think Amy loved the attention that she did get, and that kind of inspired her even more, and it lifted her up. So it was almost like she'll go through these phases of like, oh my God, I can do this and I can do that, and now I've got that in the bag. So it's almost like once she got over one hurdle, she kind of like was inspired to, she was really looking for the next thing, the next option here with the Magician card. So it's almost like her talent, her skills, everything inspired her to push ahead. So she wasn't inspired by and what lifted them was that to feel valued, to feel seen, would be another aspect of the Six of Wands, so that sort of lifted them up, that she, that an approval, I want to see as well, that people could see what she was trying to create and what she was trying to do. So she enjoyed, I think she enjoyed the challenges as well, certain challenges in life that kind of pushed her more into getting that inspiration of like desire to want to do more, um, and put more opportunities her way and put more of her skills into it. Okay, so that's the first section. we got loads of sections to do, so this is going to be a long-winded reading. So I'm going to do the second section now, which would be around outside influences. So if you're back, welcome to section 2. So we're going to touch on the fame, her response to the fame. So I would go from the beginning. So I'm going to do the beginning of it. So this is the beginning, that, when she was in the middle of it, and what was Amy hoping for the future of this? Judgment. So she's seen this as a real golden opportunity, a chance to thrive, a chance. She felt really, really like, I don't know, there was something that she wanted to, it was like the next phase for her. Judgment card is about the second awakening, the, resurfacing. And if you can see with the card, the bird is like flying up into the sun. So she was really, she felt really inspired by it, and was buzzing, from the fact of like getting acknowledged and that. In the mix of it all, we've got the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of unsettled feelings. So I feel like that the pressures was like coming in now in the midst of it all. So it could have been outside pressures, but it was the fact of trying to keep up with, and we're our own worst critic. I don't know about you. I mean, it's took me a year to do this spread. So I've been pondering so many times, and then I come to the conclusion today. It's like, just get on with it. You don't have to post it if you don't want to, just do it. But so I think with the success that she did have, it was like, it was getting too much. It was like overpowering, and it was creating more insecurities for her to meet people's needs. That's the impression I would get. But obviously, allegedly, entertainment purposes only, So, like, what she was hoping for to gain, she was trying to get her voice across. So she wanted to be able to manage this part of herself, okay, and be more insightful. So I think Amy was struggling with the communication aspect, and this is where you're gonna see like the onset of behaviors and like firing out because of the pressure she was feeling inside, but not really understanding. She had a lot she was dealing with at the time, so there was like there was a lot going on in her personal life as well, and as well as like the commitment that she, set out to do. And I think like Amy was her worst critic out of any of you. You could say what you like, but I think Amy, when she took something on board, it really sort of like consumed her. um and I think we all worry about failure, don't we, in some respects. And I think we can all relate to, like, the pressures of life and the pressures of like showing up and stuff. I think we can all relate to that at some point in our lives. And we all react in different ways. Some people, some people do what happened with Amy. Other people may eat. I like to eat. You know, we try to distract ourselves from actually the inevitable. But her, what she was hoping for with it was to gain control over it and be a bit more stronger, like, so I feel like Amy, although she was very touched with her emotions, she was very touched with her male side, of as well. um the King of Swords is someone who's practical, can sort of can deal with things, and I think this is what she was hoping for, that she would come full force and get out of this situation that she felt she was pressurized into doing. Okay, I'm going to look into media next. Okay, so the media. So at the beginning, so we're going to do the same thing at the beginning. So this is at the beginning. She was ready to take him on, So she was a force to be, again, I say in the same, she was a force to be reckoned with. So she took those challenges on with the media. She was like really going for it, like, and like the determination in her. So I wouldn't say she was unbothered by it, but I think she never showed that. Showed that she never showed that to it. So she was willing to flow with it at the very beginning. Like, I've got this, I can do this and that. These are power cards, so they're the major arcana. So she had very strong opinions of what she was wanting to do and how she wanted to interact with the media, the paparazzi at the time. Four Swords, she become less and less, not less and less of a person, I don't want to say that, but kind of she became less and less, she become more in her shell. So again, the pressures of everything, she just like, so I felt like, from where she was at with the full force of things, the Four Swords came in as like a reflection of like, I need to hide myself away. I need to recover. I just can't deal with this right now. I'm under a lot of pressure. So I feel like, the media, the paparazzi didn't help matters with the stress she was undergoing. And I think she pulled back from how she was in the beginning. This is how she pulled back. But she was trying to sort other aspects of her life out at the time. So I don't feel she wanted to interact, but you can see that really if you look at the different videos and how I mean, oh my God, can you imagine having like your photo, you imagine going into the pub and then all of a sudden people are taking all these photos of you and all that. At the beginning, it might be fun and all that lot, but as time go on, it's too much. It's like, hello, leave me the fuck alone. So, in hindsight, I can't friggin' say I blame her, but she tried to have fun with it, I think. And, she went all in, but mid-ground and that. What she was hoping for from the media, the world, I think she just wanted to be left alone. I mean, the world card is like, it's like they get over it. They get over that cycle. So she was hoping that would change as she come into herself and become a bit more stronger. She would hope that this, that they would leave her alone, that it would it would be a positive move. She was hoping that this would change for the better. So it was almost like she was convincing herself that this is not going to be a forever thing. This is just going to be like, oh, I'm just like, they're just, they'll soon go away when another part of someone else comes into the equation. This is what she was hoping for, I feel, allegedly. And that's what she was hoping for the future of it. Okay. So we done media, we done the fame, So let's go into, I want to go into like her family, friends. So, I mean, I know Amy loved her family and that, so I'm not going to do like the past, present, like a past, present thing on what she was hoping for the future. I haven't asked a question. So, around her family, how did it influence her around her family? I know she loved her gran. I know she was doted on her dad, and she was doted on her mum as well. Look, Queen of Pentacles and King of Cups. I would say they did influence her a great deal. And it's funny when I said Nan. I mean, I don't know her Nan's star sign, because this is the Pentacles, but that's coming in as a father thing. I feel like for Amy, I know like there's a strong female that was in the family that would be spoiled. I would, because I mentioned her Nan, I would say her Nan. No disrespect to her mum at all, because I know she loved her mum too. And her dad was the next face. They gave her a lot of clarity, and she listened to that. I feel she listened to that that aspect of it. So I feel they helped with her thought process a lot of the time, and I would say she was, although I would say she still had a mind of her own with the Ace of Swords, but I also think they gave her a bit of clarity on her next step. So she did get inspired by that, but there is a strong female influence that was set in stone with her, that she listened to the most. That's the impression I've got. Could be wrong, like I said, here. So I'm going to look into her mum. How did her mum influence? Because we've had the Nan. I feel that's the Nan, Dad, and the Temperance. And I should have. Why don't we just say it when we hear it in our mind? So the Temperance is about balance. So I would say her mum is, she does come across in the documentaries as a gentle soul, and the Temperance is, to me, is like that balance. So she was very balanced and very. I think her mum was very subtle, yeah, free of wands. So her mum gave her the balance, I would say, but I feel like Amy would get distracted quite easily when it come to talking to her mum. I think she found it, she couldn't get the clarity with her mum that she could with this gran and her dad. I feel, but it served a purpose. She did feel her mum listened, but I think Amy, when if her mum tried to give advice or tried to sort of direct her, Amy would lose distraction. She wouldn't know where to go with it. So I think she would get easily distracted there. But her mum was a strong, was still an influence on her, but in a, I think it's more of a nurture side. She gained clarity here, but on a nurturing side, she would go to her mum. But I think her distraction there. It, it's like it's almost like I've left the nest. I've left. So I do wonder if Amy's connection with her mum can be off balance at times. There was a distraction there. I don't feel she felt settled with her mum. Not that there was anything bad and towards. I don't see that, there. But I think she sort of like struggled with relating there. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's the impression I'm getting with the Three of Wands. And why I'm saying scatty, look, they're all over. They're doing they're doing their job. They're doing their business. So they could be talking like and doing their job, but they're all going in different places. And the Judgment card is like, I think Amy would want to, should have that quick talk with her mum and get that comfort from her mum. But it was almost if any sort of decisions and stuff, she would go. I think she would go elsewhere. Yeah, which would be these two influences. And I think this one was the strongest link to the influence that she felt around the family. I'm not going to touch into her other parts of her family. I think that's irrelevant. I think it says what it says what it says, and we've got the Judgment card which came out earlier as well, and I can't remember what part it was. Should write these things down, shouldn't I? Okay, so that's the family. So we're going to touch into her love life. Now, we know Blake was her love of her life, but there was other people that, before Amy died, there was a guy she was dating. And there's not a lot said about that in social media and that, and I don't know why. I ain't gonna touch on it too much. I might do that privately, but I just want to touch into the love aspect and how it influenced Amy. I mean, I know it influenced her with her music, but how did it, how did it have that impact on her life? Because we've seen like the Nine of Swords with like, what was it? What lifted them when I don't know, can't remember. Brain. I talk about Amy not having not reading that because I wasn't thinking of anything. So love life. Now I have got the shadow deck as well. So her past love, where she was at in the middle of it, and the general ending, where it was like. So Six of Swords. So the past for her was like coming out of the depths, moving away, moving on. I've learned so much. I gained so much knowledge. Now it's time for me to take flight. There's no more that can be done on that. That's the impression I've got here. Three of Cups. There was a period of time where she was happy. She felt more content and more happy when it come to her love life. So she was having fun. I see an aspect of her having fun, and just going with the emotions and just going for it. So it was fun for her. So I don't feel like she was taking things too seriously. So there was a period of time when she was single. She was just having a bit of fun, just having a bit of like a laugh and a giggle and just enjoying and indulging. In her final Two of Cups, there was immediate relationship. It was quite new. There was a beginning of something here. So I feel this is Blake. I feel like this is like her moving on, moving on, her having fun, and then there's it could be a reconnection, but there's something new that's entered into it. So we're gonna look. Tell me more about the Two of Cups. Four of Cups. So this relationship, it was very new in that, but she was still felt quite stuck. Now, I wouldn't be interested if the past card come up. I think whatever this relationship, it kind of moved quite quickly, but I feel like there wasn't much of a connection for her anyway. I don't know about the other person. I'm not really interested about the other person, but I feel like there was still this unsettling feeling. She was still, although it says that she come out, she was having fun. I feel like there was still something that was holding her back. She didn't feel as connected, So I think it was like, when you get caught up, I've done it myself where we get caught up, we don't really know each other and we've just linked in too fast. And I feel that is, but I don't feel like that she was completely happy with this person. I don't feel there was still something missing that she was craving for. So whether that was Blake, I can't answer that. That's not my place to answer, but I do feel like whoever this person was in relation, it seemed to be committed too quickly, but it wasn't, if you know what I mean. It was just like, I don't think she was full in it. I don't feel she was full in it, or if she was, there was a disconnect or something that wasn't really I think there was regrets. I think there was regrets of moving too quick. I really do. Let's have a look at the thing. Yeah, see, Five of Pentacles is just not doing it for me. It's not enough. I'm not getting enough from this relationship. So there's no destructive cards with this. It's more like an influence here. Like I'm not getting, I'm just bored. It's bored. I'm bored. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not like, I don't feel like, I feel empty. There's emptiness going on there. Is that her last boyfriend? I don't know. But, I'm not getting much emotions from it. More flat. So, yeah. I think she just went with it. I think she just went with it for a period of time. But this is all allegedly and stuff. Okay. So let's have a look at, I got the Shadow Love, and I will put a positive spin on it, because I like to put a positive spin on it. I think these are the times when you need to listen to, it'd be interesting to see what music would have inspired that if she was, she sort of lived longer. Yeah, because she had quite a great sense of humour, didn't she? So her moving on, there, mirror, reflect your own issues, like attracts like. So they mirror I think this is Blake. I think this is like they were very attracted to one another. But they had their own issues, which it's all in the public. You can't deny that at all. in her like singleness. Other loves still involved with the past cheating secretly and affections. So she was just having fun, but I still think her heart was still with Blake. I really do. You know? Okay. So, that, more close, near the future of like what was happening in this scenario. Distance, so far away physically and emotionally. See if you can rekindle the passion again. That says it all, doesn't it? That says it all. What more can I say than that? So what was Amy hoping for when it comes to the love side of it all? What was Amy hoping for? What any of us ladies are hoping for, isn't it? Or anyone that's looking for the right one. And if I was like, Amy, what consider your foundations. Look how committed you are to love. So she was looking for that strong commitment. She wanted, and she stated, and her friends have stated that she just wanted that family life, that happy ever after aspect. And I think she did deeply want that with Blake, um, when she was playing about, what did she truly want? True love. This love is a once in a lifetime. She was looking for that strong connection, that strong love. So remember, guys, we can have fun and stuff, but there's always this element of like what we're looking for. So I think what we can learn from like the aspects of Amy's choices and what she's considering is, some things are just not meant to be, or you're just not in the right place and stuff. I do definitely see that there was a deep connection between the two of them. It wasn't just about what everybody says. And I know, people who are going to say different, but from what the cards and what they're exploring here. But also, Amy didn't, Amy sort of like, obviously she passed over when she was in this unsettled feeling. She was looking for something. So, okay, let's have a look. I'm waffling now. Okay, here we go. Oh, we got 2 cards, so I'm going to just put the 2 there. Miracles and blessings. Everything is a gift. So she just takes love who you are, your divine delight, and deserving the wonderful things life has offered. I think what she was hoping for is to learn to love herself more. I think, like I said, I think Amy was she had more of a lower opinion than anybody else about herself. So it was almost like a defect inside of her. And that's where she didn't see her own uniqueness or her own gift and what she could offer in relationship. But I think because I think there was some confusion on the internal sort of stuff that was going on. I do believe, if she did stay on this earth plane, I think you would find Amy going into more like the spiritual movement, the more because of the creative side to her and the self-knowing and self-love. I feel like Amy would have gone down that path if she wasn't going down that path already. But I still think like there was still that struggle and that battle. And I don't, I, our mindset is so powerful and it can, it can override anything and what you believe, what your belief system is. So I think she was hoping for that inspiration. Be interesting to see what the next section that we do. What we're going to be doing, the next section would be her demons, her fears and what held her back and stuff. So we're going to look into that as the next phase. But we can see that she wasn't necessarily happy around her love life, or did feel disconnect. There was momentarily of like fun with Amy, but really what her heart was desiring was a true connection that she once felt with Blake. So we're going to look into friends next. So I'm just going to pause this a minute so I can get my cards sorted. Okay, the next section, we're going to do friends, aren't we? God. So friends, how did that influence Amy? So maybe at the beginning, middle, and end. Six of Wands. Oh, she loved her friends. She felt very inspired by her friends. We got the Six of Wands. So I feel like there was a great connection between her and her friends. Okay. Page of Cups. I think there was a little bit of distance with Amy around the emotion side. Amy in this one, what comes to mind is a little bit of a dreamer. So I feel not that she was completely disconnected from her friends, but I feel like they, in the middle of things, they weren't as influenced as they was in the beginning of her journey. Yeah. Come near the end, Five of Cups. There was a lot of loss going on around her friends. Okay. I think her friends may have found it really hard to connect with Amy and try to sort of, so even though they were very much involved, I feel like Amy was too too deep emotionally. She was too focused on what she was losing and what wasn't. She wasn't looking at the all aspects of her life. Five of Cups is like that. It's like disconnect from the world, feeling alone, feeling isolated. So I feel like Amy, as and I don't feel it's down to what the friends was doing, because I know there was communication with her friends. I just think it was just where Amy was at in her headspace, and that kind of like is influencing her emotions here. Okay. So tell me more about the Five of Cups. The Tower, yeah. That's where the destructive, so I feel like even her, I wouldn't be surprised if, her friends felt quite frustrated with Amy at times. And it kind of caused a breakdown in certain relationships, yeah. Although they were willing to go again and start again, but I think there was a lot of maybe arguments, or maybe, but I think it's because they were wanting to protect her more than anything, because they can see what was happening. Yeah, the problems that was happening and what was consuming her at the time. So I think she kind of steered away from people, and wasn't as connected with them as she once was. It's almost like this, there was a deterioration as time went on, allegedly, but although there was breakdowns in the friendship groups and stuff, there was still um, they were still there, but I think it wasn't as impactful as it once was. But it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. She was too wrapped up in her own stuff and in her own emotions. Not, and I'm not trying to put a negative aspect on that, but there was nothing really they could have done. She was on a destructive path with the Tower card, and there was just nothing there. But, I think, there was contact, but I don't feel it wasn't, it became less and less and she come further away. So I feel like Amy become more of is it ecluse, as time went on, and found relationships really difficult. But when you lose yourself, um, or like you are having like you're in your mind, in um the mental aspect of like the mental health aspect of it all is really hard to know who to trust, you're so confused on who you are and where you stand, that it's really hard to trust the outside world, especially if you feel like you've been under attack a number of times, or you just can't get grips of things. It really has an impact with your confidence, so I hope they don't beat themselves up too much about this, because this was it wasn't just, it was a complex situation, and it just wasn't, there was more deeper things going on here, especially with the Five of Cups and the Tower card, um, that was hard to grasp at. They weren't they weren't trained in that field. They weren't medically, trained. I don't think, and you got to be wanting the help. You got to be wanting that effort. We can do as much. I mean, I can do as much journaling and everything when stuff goes on in my head, and I convince myself about people and circumstances. But until you get out of that, it's really hard. And sometimes we need to ask for help. So I think the message really is saying that, be mindful of yourself and the reflection that you're doing, and it's okay to ask for that support, and help. And it's hard on people when they see you going through that and they're not relating to where your head is at. Them, a lot of people would just say, "Well, just get over it." And I'm not saying Amy's friends did that at all, but it can get frustrating for others, because they're just seeing like, what you want about? This is not the case, but you know, it's these influences is affecting you, da, 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 but you don't see that at the time. So is knowing, that you've got to, yeah, it's complicated. Um, and it was out of their control, uh, with the Tower card. That's just like unexpected, that just, it was going to falter. There was breakdowns, but it was going to happen anyway. But it was down to what was going on internally, emotionally, and how I think Amy was struggling to trust anybody around her, or anything, even herself. She was just, I think she just got really lost. Um, but that's my opinion from what I'm seeing in the cards. Again, I could be wrong. This is just a card reading. So yeah, it kind of touches my heart a little bit, because it's not taught. We're so far ahead, and it's just a shame we couldn't go back, where people were struggling like that, with the mental health, and you know her emotions. I think her emotions got the better of her at times, but the internal struggles, and our mindset is, that if anything, I always say, when I didn't know myself that well, or I felt completely lost, I think, I lost, physically, I lost, so I can't do a lot nowadays, so I go to work, I come home, I'm family, whereas I was out doing a lot of things, partying and what have you. But now my mindset is a lot more stronger than it was back then. And I would imagine if Amy was alive, I think her mindset would be a lot stronger, because what we go through and the experiences we have, you know, it was just unfortunate circumstances and that, and it wasn't, I don't feel it's like anybody's fault. It just, different things just happened, but it just proved, it was just, yeah, it's just a horrible situation, isn't it? No one, you know, everybody played a part in it, but it's not, it's not like it's, there's more to the puzzle than just one aspect. And I think that's what we got to remember. Pressure, especially, you know, when we were very much at the beginning of the reading, you know, the year, you know, the first year, the first part of the reading, were with the Nine of Swords, with the fame, you know, the stresses and the pressures of life. You're not just dealing with one thing, you're dealing with a lot of things every day, you know. Um, and when you're in a destructive mindset, it's really hard to just snap out of it. You can't just snap out of it. That doesn't work like that. And you also got to be ready to confront it, you know, and able to sort of like change your mindset. But that comes with time, that comes with growth and building up. And they were so young. She was so young. She was 27. Christ, I didn't grow up till I was in my 40s, I think. Mid 40s. I didn't grow up, you know, and it took me a while, you know, and I still kind of childish now. So, you know, give give the poor girl a break in it. But yeah, I mean I think the message I would give the family and friends and stuff like that is that it was out of your control. There was nothing you know, there was more to the jigsaw. It was not just one aspect. It was a combination of everything. And the one main thing was Amy thought process, her mindset, and what she was struggling with it too. You know, it all added to the pressures here. So we're going to look into like the section 3, which would be like the demons, what like plagued her, their fears they had, and what held them back, and what darkened them. I mean, we've touched a bit on that already. So, but I'm gonna like cleanse the deck, and we're gonna look into it. I'll be back in a minute if you're still around. Okay, the next section is their fears that they had. So we're going to do like the start, the middle, and then obviously closer to the end, which would be past, present, and future if I was doing it. But obviously we're going back in time, you know, so the past, what fears they had. And when you're, you know, if you're watching this, you know, so have a look at what fears do hold you back. What can you learn from Amy, you know, from this? So their fears they had. The Eight of Cups. I feel like with Amy was the fear of being left on their own. I feel she had attachments, and once she was attached, which we talked briefly about that, I feel she found it hard to walk away from those attachments. So her fear was being left, being, you know, being alone, you know. Eight of Wands. We got two eights. Be interested to see what the High Priestess, the unknown. She was worried about her unknown. Again, I still think she was quite intuitive, but I think she feared her gut feeling, because it was always right. You know, when you go, you know, when you got those gut feelings, it's like, I'm right. But all she seen was pain, not the fact that she could move forward. So changes, I think she struggled with change as well. because Eight of Wands is about fast movement. So I would say changes, how quick it would change. And then she's into this unknown factor of like, where do I fit into this? What do I do? So the unknown, the unsettling feeling, that's the internal, the abandonment, I suppose, if you want to look into on that aspect. I've got like the dark mirror. I haven't used these very much, but I'm going to just fire a card out on this as like, the fear. Right, of Amy. Peaceful among thorns. So I feel if Amy spends too much time on her own, she would get into her head too much. And it wasn't peaceful enough for her. So I feel like she liked the distractions. Maybe that's why she liked she used to get on the guitar and, do the lyrics and stuff like that. So she can sort of like do that thought process. That was her way of like, because she did say, didn't she, in one of her, there was one documentary or YouTube video, she did say that music was her life and that was her way of processing things. So I think she struggled with the quietness with things, and trying to find that peace, peace within aspect. Yeah. Okay. What held them back? So in the beginning, what held them back in the beginning? Page of Swords. Okay. Eight of Pentacles. It was the work. She didn't like the pressures of work. They had these expectations. It's the expectations and how fast it was going. She wasn't ready. I didn't think she felt ready for it. The small issues here was that in the beginning, the problems, the possibly the insecurities, and here with the Eight of Pentacles, because that's a work card, is putting all your things into practice. So I think she struggled with that, and that's what held her back in having the inspiration there. It was like, I'm not ready for that. I need to feel my feelings. I need to feel them. Because she was very in tune with her emotions. I can't just, you do me I do an album. I can't work like that. That's not me. And she has said that, hasn't she? So I think Amy was very forward in her thinking and kind of like what she says she meant, King of Cups. That's like a man. So there was a male influence around her. Yeah, it can be the father card. Maybe she was afraid of letting, disappointing people or, but something was, a male figure felt like she was holding her back near the end. So I think she felt stuck. What darkened them? What darkened them? She wasn't keen on people telling her what to do. The Hierophant is somewhat a wise person. So maybe it was someone who knew more than her. I think she struggled. So I think she challenged that a lot. Spiritually. Okay. Not really sure. That's the two words that comes to mind when I look at the card. Nine of Wands, the pressure. she felt defensive. She had to defend herself a lot as well. Creating a wall of protection. So it's like almost isolating. She felt isolated by her creative, being able to create the aspect of that. A female, Queen of Wands, or was it working projects? And we go back. Is managing. I wonder if Amy had a bit of ADHD about her or something on those aspects. Like unorganized, struggled with the organization of stuff, and I think she got frustrated with that. Road is like a creative block, isn't it? Having that creative block. Okay, we're going to pull two more cards. One for the middle, which what's held them back. The child I was meant to be. Oh, Amy. She felt different. I think she felt different. Didn't belong. Didn't feel belonged. That's the impression I would get. I'm not looking at the book. I'm just, that's how I feel. There, what darkened them? See if we can get more clarity on the Hierophant card as well. Black flower fragrance. I think the trapped, just feeling trapped. When she created that inspiration, she was free. But now the pressure of the contract and working for somebody else, and it darkens that aspect of her. So she lost confidence in her ability and what she was doing. And obviously other stuff going on and her issues around drinking and all that aspect, it just darkened that aspect there. She couldn't be herself. She felt like she was losing herself, that I wasn't enough. That's the impression I get. What do you think on that? Okay, we're going to be rushing now because I've got like I'm going to go and watch Janis Joplin thing, which would be I will be doing the heart and soul of Janis Joplin at some point. So we're going to quickly touch on her, what drawn them to music, allegedly. I'll put all these things in place. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not here to make judgments and stuff. I'm trying to understand, and hopefully by understanding we can sort of understand our parts of our aspects and our behaviors in our life and how we can make the changes, for the better. So what drawn them? This is section 4. I haven't wrote it down. Timestamp. So we just write down the timestamp, guys. So what drawn them to music? I wanted to finish off with those, because I didn't want to make. I mean, I've put all stuff in the description box where you can find out about Amy and about her music, and the family has put a thing up as well to help other addicts and families, etc. So I'm going to put all that information in it. So if you are struggling, please reach out and get some support. Don't console yourself. There is help out there, and just have faith in yourself. I know it's not an easy journey to go through, and like I said, I don't know the full aspects of it because I haven't, I've touched on it in my life, but I wouldn't say it's completely where I needed like real bad help. I managed to get myself out of it. So and that was hard. That was hard. So I can only imagine how hard it's going to be for addicts, and when you get that dependency on it, and other stuff that that's going on in your mind at the time. So what's drawn them to their music? Let's have a look. So in the beginning, 7 of Wands. It's almost like she was fighting back, like, it's like, I ain't taking that. I'm gonna fight back in that. So express your defending themselves, all right. Middle, 10 of Cups, around relationships. Well, that was just like I just said it as it is, isn't it? Okay. So the challenges in life was the beginning. The middle was a relationships. Their love of a relationships. And that could be their family too. Family. The family was very musical, weren't they? So, and the commitment to it. She's seen this as her path, her pathway. So it's something I think Amy was still alive, even if she took a break from it, I think it would be always something that was in her blood, with the family dynamics. Okay. What did Amy enjoy most about the music? What did Amy enjoy most about the music? So let's have a look at her early stages. Oh, bringing this uncovering stuff. She enjoyed the uncovering and the patterns. I think that was her way of learning, That's a deception card. So it's speaking through her, so she enjoyed uncovering those aspects at the beginning. So also it was being not promiscuous. What's that? When they do things backhanded. So it was her way of digging. Maybe. Okay. So that's what they enjoyed. The playfulness, I suppose, but like the hidden minimal messages. Maybe. Or sarcasm. Okay, middle. The Empress. I think Amy felt she could give so much more. She enjoyed creating. She enjoyed, when she was in it, she was fully in it and she worked hard at it. So I think she enjoyed the actual creating of that music, yeah. In the things, 10 of Pentacles, it gives her a sense of stability and security. So even really ironic, really, because that's just so bizarre. Because I feel the stableness of it. Although unfortunately she didn't create a lot of that music, but it did give her that sense of stability as well, and who she was as well. Passions they wanted to create. So passions they wanted to create in the past, when she first came out, Knight of Pentacles. She wanted to take a nice, slow movement forward. So she didn't want to rush things. She was quite happy to go with the flow with things in the very much beginning. So in that present, in the middle of like her career, the Emperor card, it gave her a sense of she wanted a sense of control. She wanted to be in control of her own music. So that I think she wanted to pull away from the music industry and create her own stuff that she felt, So that was her, like, that's how the impression I'm getting, the passion they want to create, the control. So she wanted to be in control of it. So come with the near the end aspect, Ace of Wands. She was looking for inspiration. So she was looking for that inspiration. So it was very still, she was trying to find something that would inspire her and motivate her into doing it. And I think there was a bit of, so she had some ideas, guys. There was some ideas in her head, what she wanted to do and what she wanted her next album to be, I feel. But it was very, very new. It was very like, it wasn't quite in this, if we had the 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, or the 4 of Wands, that would say that we've committed to it now. This was just, this is probably ideas that she was putting on paper, what she wanted her next album to be, or how she wanted her music. The message she was trying to get across, I think we really touched on that, but we're going to do that like in the present. Ace of Pentacles. Even in despair, even in like in certain situations, we can start again. We can move forward. That, because Ace of Pentacles to me is like new beginnings, new fresh start. So it's almost like we've been through it, we've gone through it. So in the middle of her career, what was her message? Be interesting to see. Judgment. Being able to release stuff, feel free. Oh. So I think her freedom of expression with her album of Black and Black kind of was how she wanted that to be, like the message she was getting across is that I'm free, that I'm free from it. Maybe. Okay. So in her, like, closer to like that area, what was she hoping to get across? 4 Swords. That there was recovery, that we can recover from stuff, that it's okay to pause for a moment and take that time out. So I think Amy was hoping for a recovery from all those woes and stuff. Okay. So if Amy was alive now, what would be the message she would want to say to us? This is the last section, guys, and it's only the Hangman. Okay, we're going to have a look. The Two of Pentacles. A bit like the Four of Swords here, about the recovery. Now, the Hangman is like the sacrifices that we make to try and balance our lifestyles and creating that balance. I mean, I'm a believer, you know, and I'm with Amy with this message, is like that period of time that I come away from society and away from the distractions and stuff. It ended up helping me balance things better, you know. And there were certain aspects I needed to sacrifice and let go of, and that wasn't easy. That wasn't easy to let go of that mindset, or the people, you know. And it was nothing that they'd done, but it was becoming a distraction for me. And I needed to grow up. I needed to learn. I needed to actually work out what I wanted in life, you know. And the Magician card is like the renewal of faith and hope, allowing time. I think Amy's kind of saying I didn't give myself time to recover. I I I I came stuck thinking that this was the beat, you know, that I was never going to get out of it. But really, this was I put my I put my focus on too many other things rather than actually focusing on myself and building up myself at the time. Granted, I had other things that was going on, but I didn't give myself time to recover. I had too many high expectations of myself. Yeah, look, the Five of Wands, and it was just overpowering at the time. Yeah, where I could have reserved my energy and my time for me to grow. I put too much on my shoulders, you know, and I think that's what the message is. I put too much on my shoulders, and I beat myself up too much with it. The Five of Cups has come up. You know, I was looking too much of what I've lost rather than what I could gain from the experience of life, which would have been a better foundation for me. That's how interesting is that? And I'm going to pull from the Shadow and Light deck for the last words of Amy. I feel like I just want to pull 2 cards, and I think I'm going to leave it that. I didn't need my dowsing crystal. That was a long ass reading. And if you stuck around for this length of time, thank you so much. If you would give it a like. Oh my God. We've got flyers. Now, my old teacher said, what falls to the floor comes to the door. So, the last message of Amy. We've got, I'm not going to do them. I might do the top one. I feel like but right. So, please don't lose hope. Oh, Amy. Autumn is my last chance. Please don't lose hope. Fairy of the Divine Hand, intoxicate, disorder of you, overindulging. Intoxication, disorder of you, I overindulge. Maybe I need to pull those 2 cards back out. That was the flyer. Please don't lose hope. I overindulged. I didn't listen. I didn't listen to myself. Here, healing from the heartache. I needed, a bit like what I was saying, with the last previous cards, and I'm going to pull these two cards. Invasion, boundaries, and violence, violated in dominance. I lost myself. I lost myself. Attempt an offer at a high place, and I paid the price for it. So I think I want to pull one more. Oh my God, that is just so weird. Transitions to the spirit realm. Oh, she got her wings, bless her. So though I died, I've transformed to the spirit room. Oh, that made me feel like kind of emotional there. Really made me emotional. So Amy's kind of sort of saying, you know, if she was alive today and what I was saying, right, don't lose hope. She lost hope. She lost herself. She started to overindulge, you know. She was trying to heal the damage of her heart, and that's not, that was just in general. I don't feel it might have been like stuff with people, but I think it was just, she just lost faith in herself, okay? I feel like she listened too much of the demons that was inside of her, as well as other people with the negative like influence. So there was like, I mean, the poor girl went through it, and I'm not being funny, there's another lady, I'm not going to say the name, she's going through it at the moment, and although I'm not keen on this person, no one deserves to be bullied like that, you know. Attempting offer as a high thing. So was she offered? What was she offered? You know, what was she offered at the time that affected it? Or was she saying that fame costed her more, and now she's transitioned into the spirit realm? But I do feel she's still around her family, her friends. I feel like she's present, but she's got her wings. I'm going to leave that with you. If you liked what you've seen, I am going to be doing more of the height and sale. I really enjoyed doing this video, and there is a lesson to be learned from this, you know. And I've done a lot of journaling. I gotta be honest, I've done a lot of journaling, and I think one thing that woke me up the most was how different my life is now. But the music of Amy will go on, and like I said, if you are struggling with mental health, any of the difficulties, don't lose the faith. Try to stay away from that toxicity when you're trying to heal, you know, and try and, you know, get the support that you need. I'm sending much love to you all, and to Amy's family and friends and partners that has been affected by her passing. And yeah, I hope that this would bring some closures or some understanding, or an understanding of ourselves a bit more. Much love to you all. Take care, and I'll see you soon.